What's up, guys? Today's the day we are going to be starting the 3D print on the Jaguar F-Type R front splitter that we designed. We've got it in CAD. We were gonna go foam originally, but that is not the way we decided to go. We are gonna be making this splitter out of PAHT-CF, which is a nylon carbon fiber reinforced. Now, nylon is a little bit tricky, so very important to dry your filament, but it also is very tricky to stick epoxy to because it has a low friction surface. So we will have to rough this thing up to about 60-80 grit and using a special epoxy for a seam sealer and to lay down the carbon fiber. But when it's done, it'll be strong, it'll be impact resistant, heat resistant, chemical resistant, plus it'll have a layer of carbon fiber and epoxy over it, so that'll help protect it as well. But this thing should be lightweight, super strong, super excited about it. Let's get going.
Built with soul, not just steel.
Okay, so the splitter is sectioned into 9 separate plates with pin dowels for each connection. We have all of our PAHT-CF settings set up in the printer. We have pre-dried the filament for 8 hours at 85 degrees. Right now we're sitting at 0.4 relative humidity. We did, off of Maker's World, pick up and print this out of polycarbonate, some desiccant, silicone gel cages. So this is super dry. It is pulling any moisture out. So we're not going to run the heater on here since it's already dried. We've got our machine ready to go. Our current humidity level inside the building is only 14% anyway. The bed plate, we've got our engineering plate in here. A layer of glue has been set down on the engineering plate. Very, very, very important. This glue is specifically for nylon, and since this is nylon carbon fiber, very important. This helps with adhesion. We've got plate 1 lined up. We've already got it sliced. We've had 0 warnings. One thing you need to do when you are splicing anything, you need to make sure you're paying attention to your warnings down in your lower box here. We should be good to go ahead and hit print plate. Requires high temperature environment. Reminder to close all doors. We are good. We've got PAHT-CF in our AMS HT. We're good there. Flow Dynamics auto bed leveling auto. We are only printing from the left nozzle. That means we do not need to offset calibrate for the right nozzle. If we were printing with both nozzles, you'd want that on. We're going to go ahead and send this over to the machine. And okay, guys, it looks like we're going to use 397 grams for 1 piece of the splitter. Now, we do have the walls set to thick. We're 6 layers top and bottom, so we want this thing to be rigid because it is going to be at the bottom of a low car. It is going to see the track, so it's definitely a little bit longer of a print. It's 18 hours probably per slice, so, and we have 9 slices total, so it's going to be a several day print. We'll probably capture some of this for you guys on this video, and then when everything's printed, what we'll end up doing is we'll bring you guys another video of us actually bonding the pieces together. We're going to be using a special bonding agent for the nylon for that specific reason. We need to sand it at 60 to 80 grit across the surface, so that bonding epoxy has some teeth in the nylon for the first layer of carbon fiber. Then you can use regular epoxy on the carbon fiber so you get that nice gloss finish. So we've just received the file. It is one of the center sections. It roughly is, if you split the splitter directly in half, it's about the first, I'd say, 12 inches almost, whatever can fit in the bed. I went basically edge to edge, whatever can fit flat. So, and we're going to print this piece first. The next 18 hours will be this piece, then this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, which are on one plate, and then the final two. So it comes out to 9 plates total. So everything's going here. We're going to let this thing do its auto bed leveling. We're going to let it go through and heat up, and then we'll catch a couple glimpses of the first laydown, the first couple layers, and then from there we are going to cut this video tomorrow, 18 hours later. After the first print is done, we'll let it cool. I don't have an oven to anneal the nylon, so we're going to let the Bamboo Studio H2D cool naturally from its high temps that it'll be at all the way down, so all the shrinkage and everything is limited. And then once it's fully cooled down to room temperature, the plate, the environment, everything, we'll pop this thing out. And for this video, we'll show you the first slice of the splitter, and then our next splitter video will be assembling the whole thing, and probably the final and third video will likely be laying the carbon fiber. But the reason we went this way instead of doing the foam core was, one, this foam core is 1 inch thick. I didn't want the splitter to be that thick. I want it to split the air, and that's like hitting a wall. Plus then you can add your carbon fiber layers on top of that. So this is going to be a 1/2 inch with a 1/4 radius top and bottom, so a very minor radius, but it'll have a nice edge to wrap the carbon fiber around, and get a nice clean edge. And then what we'll likely do, I need to get a 3D printer, or sorry, 3D scanner. Any of you companies out there that have an awesome 3D scanner specifically for automotive, especially reflective surfaces, but specifically for automotive, drop a link to it. Let me check it out. I'm torn between like 3 or 4 different ones right now. But that's our next thing. We want to get a 3D scanner so we can scan and build an air dam for the splitter, and then we are going to be building canards eventually as well. So, well guys, what a fiasco this has been. Okay, so a couple things. First, print, beautiful surface, major warpage. So what we found was the brim was turned off in the settings. So because this print took so long to print, by the time it would get to the other side, it would already start cooling, but the middle would stay hot because there's twice as many passes, right? So to get over here, you go 1, back. But here it's like hit, 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 right? So the middle was staying hotter than the edges, so the edges started to curl in. So we're like, okay, well, let's stop the print. That was only 6 layers in. Stop the print. We'll do a large brim. Yeah, this was overnight while I was sleeping. Man, this stuff's awesome, though. it's definitely awesome, but you can see, same thing happened. This time this is almost halfway, this is 40 layers, but you can see the nozzle was hitting this edge and this edge, and actually stayed down fairly well on these 2 edges here, probably because the I don't know if it's because of the pattern of how it ran. It hit here and here last, but you can see the oval shape in there that as it was curling away. So it ripped the brim right off. This material is freaking incredible though. So like strength wise, I mean, that's gonna make for one amazing splitter if we can get this right. So our plan is to print each piece vertical, so that there is less of a footprint on the bed plate itself. Now we can do, you know, reinforcements down there. We'll probably do a big brim. So it's got a good bite, maybe like a 30 millimeter brim all the way around. But this is only going to be half inch thick. So this was layer 40. So, and there's 80 layers total. So it's about double this thickness. Super rigid though. I mean, it does not flex. So what we're thinking is if we print it this way with a large brim and supports if needed, our footprint on the bed plate is constantly going to see, so instead of 80 layers, let's say it'll be 800 layers. And so the heat will be distributed across it way faster, because right now it was like 2.5 to 3 minutes before the nozzle reached the other side again. And the bed plate, heated bed plate, was on at 100 degrees Celsius, which is what's recommended. So that part wasn't the issue, but I think it's just the overall 260, 290 degree tip, that heat radiating in this spot more than over here. This shrunk faster, cooled faster, if that makes sense. So I think by doing it this way, printing it this way, is going to be much faster, but also way more even distribution time-wise of the heat. So we've got it vertically. The bed is going through its auto leveling. We ended up putting a new tip on. We had bought like 4 extra hardened steel tips. So the other one was gummed up from hitting the side plate and stuff. So we ended up swapping the tips out just to be safe. We got fresh glue. We used soap and water, cleaned the table really well. Fresh glue down the center strip. We perfectly placed the vertical upright right dead center, plus the tower and the 3 dowel pins. So hopefully our relative humidity is at 3%. So I'm not even going to worry about needing to dry the filament anymore. It's only been off for a couple hours, but with that upgraded Maker World desiccant cage that we have in there, that thing just holds all the moisture, doesn't allow it to get to the nylon, which is excellent. So our relative humidity has been super dry all day. So we're going to watch the first couple layers. We've got time-lapse going. So hopefully it's printing its first little streak, and then it'll start printing. So we'll keep you posted. Well, guys, it is approximately, 2-3 days later since I started this video. Our first attempt, beautiful surface, but the edges curled at layer 6. So we stopped the print. Our second print, layers curled at about layer 35, and it got to about 45. Obviously, the nozzle was hitting. This is so structurally sound. It is amazing, but unfortunately, we kept fighting that. So we said, okay, let's stop, rethink. Let's do a vertical print. Vertical print, it's actually reinforced so strong the way we need it to. Dowels came out beautiful, but you can see the shrinkage right here. it started to curl and lift from this corner. So stopped it again. We added a berm, brim, berm, whatever they call it. We had a 20 millimeter berm around this. And we got to about layer, I want to say this was layer 60 or 80. And you can barely see right here it started lifting in the same radius corner. The other side squared. It was sticking down. And this is the back of the machine, the front of the machine, closest to the door. So we said, okay. We added some fingers, some trees to that corner to give it more bite along the plate. And unfortunately, we got all the way up to about layer 1000. It's depressing. Look at this. Got up to about layer 1000 before we started getting ripples. And the ripples were from the tower doing this. You see it started to break away because the nozzle was hitting the housing. So it's cooling down right now. We've got trying to let it cool naturally as much as possible, but the top layer, I mean, it printed the hole over here. I don't know if you can see that. So we'll get this out when it finishes cooling. But we were on the final 6 layers where I was like, okay, the waves we can work with. We'll get the waves out. We can sand those smooth. Not a big deal. It's still laying the layers fine. But on the last, we have it set to 5 walls. On the walls, because it was dragging on that short end, and so it was just printing and starting to spaghetti, so I just hit stop immediately as soon as the first final wall layer started. So unfortunately, that's where we're at. We've gone through 1 entire spool. We have probably maybe 100 grams left, maybe, trying all these prints. So we know the concept works standing upright. So our options are to, 1, leave it in 10 pieces and go ahead and do some more supports about 2/3 the way up before the wave started, because we know that's about the time it'll get to getting enough leverage to break away from the base plate, because that's what basically happened. So we have that option. Or we take this from a 10-piece splitter print to a 20-piece splitter print, and we cut each piece in half, reducing the leverage, which this thing printed beautiful. I mean, we're talking beautiful all the way to about 2/3 to 3/4 in that area is when it started to finally see waves. So that's another option, and that's a battle for another day. We've been, like I said, we've been at this for about 3 days working with this PAHT-CF. It is finicky because it is engineering filament, and I'm doing it on H2D. We're right at those limits for temperatures, but for now, learning, building, and sharing the ride. This is JP Street Performance. Until next time.